Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of The Source. Coming off a weird night, I actually went 4-1-1 against the spread last night and finished down money because my one loss was my top bet. I loved Memphis and that loss, so that was a full unit. And I also lost the over in the Pacers-Lakers game. So go 4-1-1 against the spread and finish down money. Wow. But it is now Friday. We got 8 games tonight. Let's dive in.
Welcome to The Source. The Source. Hey, get the Source.
Sacramento on the road in Indiana here. This is a 7 p.m. tip. Total is 235.5. Line is Indiana +3. And we got a pros versus public game here. Public is on Sacramento. Sharp money is on Indiana. Line drops from 3 down to 2.5. Let's take a quick glance at the spreadsheet. The model's telling us that the line for this game should be Indiana +7.21. That's a pretty solid lean, a 5-point lean on the Kings. And the numbers being used in the model, obviously a big chunk of the Pacers games, 11 of the last 12 games were without their best player, Tyrese Haliburton, and he's playing, well, it looks like he's playing. So take the model for this one with a grain of salt. In the last 3 weeks, the Sacramento Kings are ranked 3rd in the NBA, 3rd in offensive efficiency. The Pacers all the way back in 29th. So in the last 3 weeks, we're analytically looking at one of the best offenses against one of the worst offenses. But again, the Kings' star point guard is out, and the Pacers just got their star point guard back, so scratch those numbers. Tyrese Haliburton leads the NBA in assists per game. He's also 2nd in the NBA in time of possession. This dude is very ball dominant. He takes the Pacers offense from a disgusting offense, a struggling offense, to actually a pretty dangerous one. But here's the question mark. Is he gonna play? I mean, he just missed 11 straight games, comes back and runs 36 minutes last night. Are you really gonna play your star player on a back-to-back, right back from injury? I don't know. I think he probably will sit. I don't have any confirmation as of now. So for this video's sake, I'm going to lay the points. I'm going to take Sacramento -2.5, even without Fox. But put an asterisk next to this one. I'm not placing this bet. Need to find out if Haliburton's playing or not. I'll let you know on Twitter if you're interested. So next game. Portland on the road in Washington here. Another 7 p.m. tip. Total is 236.5. Of course it is. It's a Portland Trailblazers game, so you know the total is going to be crazy high. Line is Washington -4.5, and everyone's on Portland. This is one of the most public. I actually think this might be the most public play on the board. Tickets are on Portland. Money's on Portland. Line eventually does move. It was staying at 4.5 for a while. About a half hour before recording this, it dropped down to 4. Take a quick glance at the spreadsheet. According to the model, the line for this game should be Washington -8.27. So that's a solid lean on the Wizards here. 4 points and some change. Quick look at the matchup. Both these teams are hot, especially the Wizards, man. Wizards are 6-0 against the spread and 6-0 straight up in their last 6. They're also completely healthy. Porzingis, Bradley Beal, and Kyle Kuzma all in the lineup without any injury designation. And they're well rested too because of that Pistons game that got postponed because the Pistons flight was whatever. Because of that game that got postponed, the Wizards have 3 full days off. But we're looking at another red-hot team in Portland. They've won 4 of their last 5. In the last 3 weeks, Portland is 1st in the NBA in offensive efficiency by a landslide. The Blazers average 5 more points per 100 possessions than 2nd place. Like, they're in 1st by a mile. Now, Nurkic is out for Portland tonight, so they're going to be without their center. But the thing is, Nurkic has been struggling. I like Nurkic, but he has not been playing that well recently, so I don't know how much this even hurts the team. A mismatch I found that I liked here. So we all know that Portland likes to launch threes, right? They're 5th in the NBA over the last 3 weeks in 3-point frequency. Love shooting threes. But in that same time span, the last 3 weeks, the Washington Wizards are 3rd in the NBA at defensive efficiency from beyond the arc. Not saying the Wizards defense is going to shut Portland's offense out. No one can shut Portland down right now. But that being said, this perimeter defense has played well. And if they could hold the Blazers to 35% around from 3 or below, I really think the Wizards should win the game. Drew Eubanks and Josh Hart, those are the best 2 defenders on the court for Portland in this game. Obviously, they'll probably cover Bradley Beal and Porzingis. I think they'll both struggle. That being said, who's the 3rd defender on Portland? Who's going to cover Kyle Kuzma? Over the last 10 games, Kuzma leads the Wizards 23.7 points a game. Portland defense on a back-to-back against a well-rested, hot Wizards team. I'm on Washington. Give me Wizards -4. Side bet. I'm also taking Washington team total over 119.5. next game. Charlotte on the road in Detroit, another 7 p.m. start. The total for this one all the way up at 240. Line is Detroit -1, but it actually jumps up to 1.5 despite the public being heavy on Charlotte here. Let's take a quick glance at our spreadsheet. According to the model, the line for this game should be Detroit -3.63, so a 2-point lean on the Pistons. So it's happening a little bit under the radar, but Detroit's played a couple of tough basketball games recently. First, they went into Brooklyn, beat the Nets on the road. Then 2-3 days later, a couple games after that, they go into Dallas and cover against the Mavs. Well, the Mavs have been playing like shit, but still, played them tough, covered. But a couple things scare the shit out of me when it comes to betting the Pistons in the spot. First of all, they're favorites here. They're just 1-6 in their last 7. So yeah, they've covered a couple times, but we're laying 1.5 now. So I need the Pistons to win. Pistons don't win very often. Also, Detroit is just 2-8 against the spread in their last 10 at home. So this is not a team that's played well at home. Meanwhile, you got the Charlotte Hornets able to string together some W's here. They're actually 4-4 in their last 8. And you might be thinking 4-4, who cares? When you're capping the Hornets-Pistons game, 4-4 is a great record. One angle that definitely pushes me over to the Detroit side is the Charlotte Hornets offense. In the last 3 weeks, they're 3rd in the NBA in shot frequency at the rim, meaning a majority of this team's shots come at the basket. That plays right into the strength of the Pistons defense. I mean, their only strength, basically. All the Pistons can do is protect the rim. It's their only thing they're decent at. In the last 3 weeks, they're 8th in the NBA at defensive efficiency under the basket. So I'm going to fade the public here. Everyone's betting Charlotte, yet the line moves from Detroit -1 to Detroit -1.5. I'm going to fade all that. Give me Detroit -1.5 next game. Phoenix on the road in Boston. This is a 7:30 start. The line is 220.5. The line was Boston -10, but it actually dropped down to 9.5. Public slightly leaning towards the Celtics. 60% of the money on Boston as of earlier today. Take a quick look at the spreadsheet. According to our model, the line for this game should be Boston -7.7. So we're looking at a nice little 2-point lean on Phoenix. For this one, I like the simple logic of you got the Boston Celtics coming off a blowout win over Brooklyn, and you got the Phoenix Suns coming off a blowout loss to, I think it was Atlanta. So regression should bring these teams closer together. I'm catching 9.5 with one side. Now, Phoenix is still missing Devin Booker, Landry Shamet, and Campaign. They're still missing those 3 guys, but Boston's missing Marcus Smart in this game, so they're not at full strength either. So I'm going to take the points. I believe in this Suns defense. Give me Phoenix plus 9.5 next game. Toronto on the road in Houston. This is an 8 p.m. start. Totals 225, I believe. Line was Houston plus 5.5, but this line has moved 2 full points, and now the public is starting to lean towards Houston a little bit. Sharp money is still all over Toronto. So let's take a quick glance at our spreadsheet. According to the model, the line for this game should be Houston -2.74. My model loves the Rockets because they rebound the shit out of the ball, and I wish I'd listened to it last night, to be honest. I think I might just pass on this game. I would love to side with the Sharps and lay the points against Houston, but the fact is, Houston's won 3 of the last 5, so is this Rockets team turning a corner? I don't think so, but 3-2 in their last 5 for the Houston Rockets, that's a nice little boost right there. Also, Toronto's just 23-30 on the season. I don't think people realize how far down the standings the Raptors really are. They're the 6th worst team in the NBA, down there with like Charlotte and Orlando. They're all the way down there. So laying 7.5 points on the road with the 25th best ranked team in the NBA, it just isn't appetizing to me. So I'm going to pass on this one. I don't feel comfortable taking the Rockets either. Next game. Orlando on the road in Minnesota here. This is an 8 p.m. start. This totals at 229.5. Line is Minnesota -5.5. Another pros versus public look. Public is definitely on Minnesota. Sharp money on Orlando, and the line drops. We're now looking at Minnesota -5. Correction, I just opened the app, and as I'm recording this, it dropped again. So we're now looking at Minnesota -4.5. Let's take a quick look at our spreadsheet. According to the model, the line for this game should be Minnesota -5.43. So a very, very slight lean on the T-Wolves. Really tough to make this call here. These are 2 teams that I've had success betting recently. Both Minnesota and Orlando are both 7-3 against the spread in their last 10. So 2 hot tickets to hold right now. The first thing that jumped out at me when I looked at this matchup was this isn't typically the spot I like betting Minnesota. Love betting them as underdogs. Love betting them on the road. As home favorites, not so much, and I went and looked it up, and my suspicions were confirmed. Just 6-10 as home favorites on the season, Minnesota is. That and the fact that Wendell Carter has given Rudy Gobert problems in the past, it's going to push me over to Orlando. The line movement helps me get there as well. So I'm going to take Orlando plus 4.5. Not one of my hugest bets, but I am on the Magic next game. Philly's on the road in San Antonio. This is an 8 p.m. start. The total's at 234.5. Line is Spurs plus 10, and everyone's on Philly. 71% of the tickets, 84% of the money on the Sixers. This is as of earlier today. Line never moves, still 10. Quick look at the spreadsheet. According to our model, the line for this game should be Spurs plus 8.16. So a 2-point lead on the Spurs, but that's not taking into consideration injuries. Speaking of injuries, not only is Devin Vassell out for the Spurs, but so is Jeremy Sohan, Trey Jones, and Romeo Langford. So all 4 of those guys are out. This Spurs team is not only bad, but it's super thin right now. Now, on the other side, Joel Embiid is also questionable. I think he's going to play, and if he does play, I will be laying the 10. Won't be my favorite bet of the day, but I'll bet it. So give me Philly minus 10 if Embiid plays. Next game, Atlanta on the road in Utah. This is a 9 p.m. start. This totals all the way up at 242. Line is Utah minus 1.5, and another pros versus public look. Public is definitely on Utah. Sharp money, though, is on the Hawks. Quick look at the spreadsheet. According to our model, the line for this game should be Utah minus 2.63, so a slight lean, 1-point lean on the Jazz. So betting the Jazz at home this season has, for the most part, been a good decision. This team's 17-9 at home in Utah, including 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 at home. Everyone was expecting Utah to just fall off the grid without Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, but have you seen Walker Kessler play? This kid is 21 years old, and according to 538 Raptor Analytics, he is the 12th most valuable defensive player in the NBA this season. More importantly, in this matchup, he's got the size and the athleticism to contest that Trae Young lob to Clint Capella while also challenging that little floater that he does. So I want to bet the Jazz. Trust me, I like this Jazz team. I like that kid Kessler. I want to bet Utah, but then I looked at some Hawks numbers, and did you know that this team is low-key becoming a wagon on the road? Atlanta is 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 on the road, 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 road games. And overall, top to bottom, you gotta say this Atlanta team just has more talent than the Utah team. I like this Jazz team, and I like the way it's built for the future. But right now, Atlanta's kind of loaded. I mean, their backcourt certainly is. So I'm siding with the sharp money on this one. Give me Atlanta plus 1.5. If anything changes with these bets, I will let you know on Twitter. So give me a follow there if you're interested. And if you want the top bet and the parlay of the day, head over to KyleKirms.com or download the Sauce Network app. NBA Friday. Overall, it has not been a great week. We had an awesome day on Tuesday, followed it up with a terrible day on Wednesday. So overall, we are in the red this week. Let's turn it around with a big Friday. Remember to bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you on Twitter.